The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine with me.
Coming in. You know what that means? It's Tuesday, 9 p.m., my favorite hour of the week. Hi, everybody. My name's Maria, and you have just landed at What's the Story with Maria. So welcome. We appreciate that you're here. So I just want, first of all, a special thank you to Jim Bell and Joe Rocks of Armed Radio. They are, thank you. And Jimmy is manning the ship. I have no idea what Joe Rocks is. It could be anywhere. But Jim is manning the ship. So we appreciate Jim, and we want to say hi to him. So we're going to wait for some of our friends pop on. They pop on as the show goes on. And this, I want to tell you guys, is the beginning of Season 3.
What?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Season 3.
Season 3. So that's what I'm going to actually type something in. I'm going to type something in because sometimes it takes this to get everything going. All right. So, and then people will start to pop on. All right. So we want to welcome you. This is episode 105, and we have been coming to you for 2 years now. So July 19th, 2017 was our first show, and now we're on our 105th show. So I said to myself, I wanted to do something very special for this particular show. I want to launch the third season with a health and wellness. And Dr. Jackie was on the phone with us. Was it last week, Jackie, or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago. So Lynn Portis, genius, was here, and she is my one of my best friends and musical director, and she's been on the show many times, and she was here. We did an all request live show, which was hysterical. So she was here last week. And we wanted to, Jackie called in, and it was great, but it was really hard to hear her with the phone and all that, and I wanted to get her on. So we're focusing on health and wellness tonight, and Jay is my friend who is an actor and singer and all great things, but he also, for me, is the person that I go to most of the time if I have questions about diet or probiotics or Jay, what's wrong with should I have my knee examined? And he's like, hold on, do this first. So Jay is usually the person that does that. So anyway, okay, we are going to launch right into our show. And as people pop up, if you have questions tonight, please feel free to answer those questions. If you want to share our show, please feel free to do that as well. So Jackie and Jay, I may periodically look down and check the Facebook and see what's happening there and all that stuff, and be sharing the show as well. So we are coming to you from New York City tonight, and we want to say thank you for tuning in every week. Okay, so it's summertime. Summertime, the first thing I think of when I think of summertime is cookouts. I think of cookouts, ice cream. This is where my head goes. I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to have ice cream. I'm going to go to cookouts. Going to be barbecues. I automatically go to food.
I love food.
Right. But then my second thing that I automatically go to is I can't fit into my pants. I'm not wearing my bathing suit. Nobody's going to see me at the pool. And so I have these struggles, these internal struggles. So I said to myself, this year it's going to be different. I am really going to try to get more healthy so that when summer comes, I can enjoy the summer the way I used to enjoy it when I was a kid. So this is Dr. Jackie Guliano.
Hello.
Now she is Jackie Guliano, but to me, of course now she's a doctor, and I respect her for that. She was this little girl that I met when Lynn and I were doing Tony and Tina's wedding together. Jackie was probably 6.
Yeah, probably.
So that's how, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew you three little rascals, you and Nicole and John.
Yep.
And now you're a doctor, and so all these great things are happening. And I just went to your wedding. Was it last month?
It was May 18th. Yes.
Oh my God! The wedding of the century.
Congratulations!
Thank you
the
very much.
wedding
It was awesome.
of the century. It was a blast.
It was awesome.
So Jackie's on the show, and Jay is going to talk about. Jay, you're kind of a holistic guy, and you also are a physical trainer, right?
Physical trainer, and certified in nutrition as well. And
beautiful.
That's awesome.
Okay, so who would like to start first? And let's go with. I'll throw this question out to you because I was saying to Jackie earlier. My thing, what I feel has happened in the last few years, is that people kind of have lumped medicine and pharma in together.
Yeah.
And I know years ago we didn't think that way. You used to go to your family doctor, you loved your family doctor, you trusted them. If you didn't have a great family doctor, you found one that your friend recommended, and you went. You went every year for your physical. You had pretty good insurance. It was usually somewhere you worked covered your insurance. And in the last couple of years, that's changed a lot. Insurance has changed drastically. Yeah. The price of insurance has skyrocketed. People have gotten discouraged. Then the pharma companies came in, all the crazy stuff. And I know a lot of my friends and family, we've kind of drifted away from taking care of ourselves the conventional ways. So, Jackie, what would you say, like we were talking about so many things earlier.
I know.
I know. And, like I said that personally, I never had high blood pressure ever. And it just in the last few years, it's changed. Same thing with cholesterol. In the last few years, it's changed. And I said to my doctor, I'd rather try to do this before medication. I'd rather try to do this on my own. And you said that happens a lot.
Oh, definitely.
When you treat people that come in. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I am a big believer in you can avoid medications in most situations. I think that you don't need to be on medication for everything. I think that eventually it does get to that point. There are situations where, for example, if you have very, very high blood sugar, you should be on some medication to prevent from something else happening, like maybe be on an oral medication instead of having to go on insulin. That is definitely valid. But at the same point, if you're a diabetic, the problem is your blood sugar. If you're a type 2 diabetic, meaning it's coming really from more what you're ingesting, the sugars and the foods that you're eating, or maybe a lack of exercise, as opposed to a type 1 diabetic who needs insulin because they can't make it. That's obviously something that's not up to them. That unfortunately is the cards that they've been dealt. But for type 2, when you feel like, at least in the beginning, it's up to your control, that's exactly what it is. It's your control. You have the ability to fix this. So my thing is, what is the issue and how can we fix this pharmacologically first? And that's where I think some of my mentality differs than some of my other, some other doctors who kind of are out there where they just do push a lot of medications. I think that there are definitely situations where you need it. I'm not saying that you don't.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things: cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar issues. In terms of diabetic or pre-diabetic. It's a big deal, and it's what we put into our bodies and how we take care of our bodies, or how maybe we don't take care of our bodies.
Right.
And this is the start of what you said, season 3. So this is
season
new
3.
You.
Yes.
New you. Time to make some big changes. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to. Everything to me has a rhyme and a reason.
Yeah.
Like nothing really even like what I cook and stuff for certain nights. But I really said to myself, okay, this year, like the last time I was on a diet was 10 years ago, right? And I just don't like diets. I hate the word. I just feel like, it's just deprivation. But I said to myself, I just want to feel better. I want to feel better, and I don't want to give up my control of my body over to having to take medications. So, I mean, like you said, if you have to, you have to. There are times when there's no way around it. But if there's something that I can do, I can take actions that will change my life for the better, and I have the possibility of doing that, then I want to be able to do it.
Definitely.
So,
Absolutely.
Jay, I know you're really big on what you've always said to me, what you put in your body is so important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, food is the number one healer of the human body, in my opinion. Food and simple water, believe it or not.
Definitely
a lot
water.
of people
Both
don't
of
even
you said
realize
water, yeah.
how simple it is to get rid of just anything having to do with kidneys, anything having to do with digestive problems. And, I hear people say all the time, hey, well, I don't really drink that much water. And
What? Now, let me ask you something, because this is crazy to me. And I know people people very well that just refuse to drink water. What is the big deal with the water? Why would people not want to drink water?
So, I mean, I don't know if I could take it, but
Sure.
our cells are almost 90% water.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is our body is made
Yeah.
up of so much water. So, you can't drive a car on empty. So how can you function with your body when you don't have the fuel that you need?
Right.
So, I think
Absolutely.
that in terms of and exact Jay said it, food is our fuel, food and water, and that's what we need. And people don't drink water. They say, oh, I had tea, tea or sodas or caffeine. It's a diuretic. It's making you go to the bathroom, and you're doing actually the opposite of water. Sure, coffee's made with majority of water, same with tea,
But it's almost dehydrating,
exactly
right?
because
because
then
it's
you're just
cleaning
peeing
you
it
up.
out.
Oh, without a
Exactly.
doubt.
Yeah.
They're
So
dehydrating to the max.
Now, how about putting fruit? Because sometimes I know that I've seen people try to do this, and it is appealing because it's appealing to the eye. Trying to add fruit to water. Does that help, or does that?
it helps to flavor it. You can do it
Sure.
that way. Absolutely. Yeah.
But it doesn't take anything away from the water.
No, it's not taking anything. I mean, pure water is always the best.
Always the best.
Yeah,
Always.
definitely. It's not taking anything away. Maybe it'll help it flavor a little bit.
Yeah,
You can squeeze a
sure.
little
There's
lemon or
nothing wrong
lime.
with that.
Cucumbers, I see people do
Cucumbers,
that.
mint
Yeah.
is the big one too.
And it just looks so much more refreshing, I think. I mean, personally, I love drinking water all day. I need it. Like, I have to have it, otherwise I don't feel well.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just don't. It's not their thing.
It wasn't my thing either, believe it or not, growing
Me
up.
neither.
I'm a Lower East Side kid, basically. I grew up with a pretty poor diet for the most part.
You've always said that, and that always
and-
throws me because you are someone that really eats healthy now.
Oh, it was, my family, they're wonderful, amazing people and stuff, but they knew nothing about, nutrition and food. So, they did the best they can, of course. And in that sense, the interesting thing about the human body is the human body is like a machine, basically.
Definitely.
It needs certain things to function properly. Now, if we have like too many things, too many liquids that we say, oh, well, it has water in it. The problem with that is that...
You mean like iced teas?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Okay.
have to separate. We have to have water alone at some certain points, and this is the reason why. Because the human body itself has to break everything down and separate that, whatever that substance is, from the water, so it can actually use the water for what it needs for different functions. Water is used for our lungs, for our digestive system, for our blood, for everything, for our skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everything that our body. I mean, like Jackie was just saying here, I mean, really, like almost 90% of our body, something ridiculous like that, is basically composed of water. Now, I know this is like so boring to a lot of people.
No,
but totally.
I mean, it's the logical. It's breaking things down logically.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so now I want to throw this question out to you guys too: the genetics versus the environment. So, Jackie, you find that we were talking earlier, and you said that people come in and they fill out and they pretty much will tell you. They don't even realize they're telling you pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
What their situation is. Do you find that a lot of people that are diagnosed with things, it's just a lineage?
There's yes and no.
Okay.
I think that there are certain things that absolutely are genetic. There are certain conditions that your parents had, and maybe you're predisposed to, whether it's early heart disease or genetic diabetes or genetic, like we call it, familial hypercholesterolemia, meaning high cholesterol runs in your family. But there are those people who just say, my dad had it, so it was bound to happen to me. I knew it was a matter of time
Right.
before I went on medication, and they didn't even give it a shot to try to work on what they're putting into their body, what
Right.
they're eating, what they're doing. And I try to stray away from that. Now, if you've done all the right things and you are following your nutrition to a T, and you're drinking as much water as you can, and you are trying everything under the sun, and it's still not budging, then yes, absolutely. Could it be genetic? Could it be something that does need medication? Absolutely. But I think majority of it isn't necessarily genetic. I think it plays a role, but I think that you have to be that person who stops genetics from taking a role.
So you do have a hand in it.
Yeah. Oh, you have a huge
Even in
hand it.
genetics.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
It definitely.
And Jay, go ahead, because
We inherit our. There's another thing we inherit from our family as well. Our family's diet. We inherit our family's diet. I know that growing up, I really got accustomed to things that would completely light up my dopamine receptors. And
like what was it for
things.
you, Jay?
Oh, just all that great, greasy fried food that my family used to make, and I knew for a fact that it was. Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
No one can tell me that I can't eat this. No way.
Right.
And the biggest consensus for my family, I love my family, they're funny as hell. They say, "Oh yeah, but you gotta live, you gotta enjoy life," and stuff like that. And I don't want to take that away from anyone, because no one wants to be told, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that." But the interesting thing about it is that I come from the mentality now, after learning what I understand about food, that I don't want to live my life later on being sick. I don't want to live my life later on
absolutely
having all these different circumstances. And I've really physically beat a lot of different things that my family has: high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. All these things run in my family, and I've dodged every one of those bullets and stuff. And there's a lot of people in my family that are both older and younger than me that actually do have these different ailments and stuff. So yes, food is the number one healer of the human body, water being part of that, anything that we ingest, and it's really awareness.
Now, how do you, so that's great. That sounds wonderful, right? On paper, that sounds like great. What's the big deal? Why don't we all get on board? How do you, either one of you, and I'll let you answer individually, motivate? Like, what would you say to the hardest case? The case that's like, look, it runs in my family. I'm going to enjoy my life. Don't tell me what to do. I don't care. I'd rather die happy and
I know nothing
eating.
about this. I've never heard this before.
I'd rather, that's it. I don't want to hear it. Look, I'm going to go when I'm going to go. Could get hit by a bus tomorrow. What's a way to reach that person? Because I can be that person. I can be that person.
I was that person.
Yeah.
Okay. And I, over the years, what gets me is always fear. Fear will strike a chord in me. Like if I hear, what do you, well, you might need medication. No. What do you mean?
Right.
It's like then I start to think, oh God, no, this is not going to be good. And that's usually fear is a motivator for me.
Yeah.
Don't take this away from me. That's the biggest fear.
Don't take this away.
Don't take this away from me. That's a lot of big fears for people.
Yeah.
Now, do you believe that people can moderate? Do you feel that people can do things in moderation? Like once they regulate their blood sugar, once they regulate all that, then people can maybe inch back to their lives
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think that calling, I didn't realize this until I started working on it for myself, to be honest, but calling something a diet automatically has like a negative connotation to it.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I want to do this diet or that diet. As soon as you say diet, it's restricting.
Yep, I agree.
But if you say I want to change my nutrition, that's a whole different thing. I want to change what I'm putting into my body. So I think that immediately the words that you use do play a big role because people are listening. Doctors, they're listening to what their doctor is saying and trying to process all at the same time, which is very difficult, very, very difficult to do. For me to rattle off this,
and
that.
I'm just going to jump in here because and there's a sadness. There's like a letting go.
Oh,
Definitely.
In like these things that you're used to. They're like your friends.
Yeah.
Like for me, sugar is
food.
My God, sugar. I love donuts. I love all that stuff. I'm Italian. I love pasta. I love bread. My Uncle Johnny was a baker. We grew up like, when your uncle's a baker, that you have bread every day.
Right, constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So things like that. And to me, there's this sadness that goes with like giving that stuff up. But like what I'm trying to do now is just like for I just said to Jackie, I just want to fit back into my clothes. That's like, I don't need to be skinny. I just need to fit into my clothes again. But actually, what's happened in the last few weeks is I'm starting to feel like actually my mind is more like I'm more alert. I'm sleeping better.
Yeah.
These weird things that I'm like, I didn't expect that to happen. And one of my cousins was saying her husband gave up carbs and lowered his blood sugar, and he's off medication now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, those are the
incredible.
kind of things. But so what would you say to, and you can answer individually, to the like not the hardest case, just a person that you're like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one.
I know. You want to go for it?
I mean, I can if you like.
That's fine.
Plain and simple. Worst thing you can use with a person that is already suffering or in fear is incorporate any kind of shame, right? So that's like, making people forcefully, hey, or what are you doing, or anything of that sort. Right away is building up a wall for a person, for an individual, right? So shame should not be a factor when we're talking about food, because let's face it, most everyone has issues with food.
Yeah, you're right.
And because of that, it's not about dancing around people either, because I don't people please either, because it could be something that can save their life later on.
Yeah.
Right.
But finding the balance of how to explain things to a person is extremely important. One, keep an open mind. Keep an open mind to new things, nutrition. Not necessarily giving up.
You're saying that to the person.
To the person. To
Okay.
the person. Not necessarily giving up every single food, but maybe finding ways to prepare it that
In a different
are
way.
much healthier, but at the same time don't taste like you're eating sawdust.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Don't eat
Because
cardboard.
that's freaking boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And I think the spices, I'm checking because sometimes
and
people...
they're good for you. Spices are good for you. Garlic is good
Yeah.
for you. Onions are good for you. Rosemary is good for you. All these things are good for the body. So, damn it, use it in the food.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're
Make it
definitely
taste
right,
good.
Jay.
Make it taste good.
Yeah, I think it's for me. It's you want to do something. You want to change your nutrition. You want to change your diet. You need to. It's not just about that, though. You can change your nutrition from left to right, but you do also need to add in that exercise. And some people are like, I can't exercise. I have a bad knee. I can't exercise.
I just heard this
I have
this
a bad
weekend.
hip.
Someone said it.
And you can do so much more than you give yourself credit for. If you have really bad knees or really bad hips and it's difficult for you to walk, exercises can be modified. You can exercise. Anything can be done in a pool. It's the summer.
I
You
was
mentioned
going
the
to
summer.
say...
Anything.
I was going to say the low impact stuff,
Yeah.
like in pools, is amazing.
It's not weight bearing. It's what we call a non-weight bearing exercise. You watch somebody move in a pool. My grandfather, who just passed, and who we love, he was at some point close to 280, maybe. Like he was pretty heavy, and he had terrible knees, could barely walk. But every morning when he was in New Hampshire, he would waddle off to that dock, fall in, and he would swim like a mile. Like he would just
Really?
swim.
That's so
He
great.
could not walk.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
Wow.
feet, but could swim.
Wow.
And that's how it was his exercise, even when he was in Florida. Like
And he was in the
good.
Navy, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was
Okay.
in the Navy too. So my grandpa Joe. So
Wow.
great guy. But you have to incorporate. You have to change your nutrition, and you need to try to exercise. And people say, "I don't have time." I don't have time. Okay, I see patients. I start at 8. I'm working all day, and
Right.
I'm on call, and I do this, and I'm getting my master's, and I'm newly married or getting a new puppy. Like there's so many
Right,
things that I
right.
do, and I give myself 45 minutes a day. To
45 minutes a
exercise.
day.
I need
And
to
what
incorporate that.
would your routine be?
So for me, I actually, maybe I'm a little different than some people, but I joined something called the Max Challenge, which is a 10-week nutrition and exercise regimen. They're all over the country now. It started in Jersey, right by where I work, and it was across the street from my office where I work. I had started it to lose weight for my wedding originally. I said, I see this gym every day.
And
I
you
pass
lost
it.
30 pounds, you
I
said.
did.
That's
I did.
crazy.
I lost
That's amazing.
30, which is awesome.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah, that's great.
And I never thought of myself as a bigger person. I never thought of myself as that. But I think for me, my own victories were not all about the scale. My victories, my trainer, Randy, who's awesome, I love her. She says all the time, it's about these non-scale
What do you
victories.
love about her? Because you lit up when you said...
Oh,
love
I
her.
do love Randy.
Yeah, but what is it that she does that you love?
So it's I think it's a part of the Max mentality, but her in particular, I think she really embodies it. It's about inspiring people. It's
Right.
about
That's so
high
important.
fives. Like we exercise, let's do 10 jumping jacks. High five. Do it.
Right.
Do it. How do you feel?
Great.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. You can do it. You can do so much more than you think that you can, and there's so much time. If you think you can't do it after work, wake up a little earlier. Give yourself that extra time. You're gonna sleep better.
Right.
You're gonna feel better. Maybe you won't drop necessarily in pounds, but your inches.
Your
are
inches.
Gonna drop. Inches
Listen,
is a big deal.
to me, what I think is so great is that when you can walk into a store and just pick out something that you love and it fits.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think about it. To me, that is a huge victory. So I don't really care what the scale says. It doesn't matter to me. It's really about like putting something on and being like, oh, okay, I don't have to like tie that differently or buy something else. I think that everyone wants to look good, you know?
Absolutely.
So Jay,
Definitely.
now on the other side of it, like she was talking about her trainer and like the Inspired, how does it make you feel when someone that you're working with as a trainer starts to get that? It clicks. Do you know when that happens? Can you tell?
Oh man, I can see.
a nice
I can
feeling,
see
right?
the light. I can see the light in their eyes, and I can see the passion behind it. The main goal, in my opinion, that a trainer wants, you know, if they're a good trainer, they want their clients to be self-sufficient and to be in the know. It's not like, just, do what I tell you kind of thing. It's more like understand why they're doing this without you don't have to have 500 nutrition courses. You don't have to study anything, but just know simple things. They're going to basically save your life.
Yeah.
You know, so you guys are talking about the vanity of it. And let's face it, I'm a trainer. I'm going to have a certain sense of vanity in my life and stuff. But I think the most important thing is that even if I don't drop in weight or in this and that, the one thing that always improves is my health, like my internals. And stuff.
Right.
Anytime any kind of exercise is done, if I can't do 45 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever,
Right.
anything is better.
Do
than
as much as you
nothing.
can do. You know what I find is
Right.
very helpful, like if you what you're listening to. Like for me, so, like Judy likes to listen to music. She picks out like her own playlist and she likes to listen to I listen to podcasts because it gets my mind off of what I'm doing for exercise. If I'm on a treadmill or if I'm on the elliptical, it gets my mind off of it, off the time. Because I'm getting through the podcast that something I'm really loving, or
Anything
an
to
audio
distract,
book,
anything to
right?
distract. It's
So that's what it
important
is.
to distract.
And whatever it is, sometimes people like Jackie was saying, was listening to an audio book driving. They were driving a bunch of hours and they listened to part of this audiobook. Like I love doing that when I drive to Boston, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. That makes the time fly by. So the same thing with exercise, things like that.
You have to exercise your brain too. I mean, this is exactly what you're doing. I mean, you got to think about now.
It's a muscle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you
muscle.
have to. You have to.
No, that's a
exercise your
great
brain.
question. So, not just as you get old, but I think a lot of us are really inundated with a lot of stimuli. Our lives have become more of a multitasking kind of field, and then we have electronics, and so we're like bombarded with all this stuff. What do you feel is the best thing you can do for focus, like it medically or otherwise? What is something that you're like, okay, this is, whether it's a food, whether it's an exercise, what is the best thing to de-stress the mind?
The de-stress the mind. It's such a loaded question.
Yeah, I
We
know.
are so.
But a good
Right.
one.
It's a great question.
it
There's
could
so
be
many
food.
great
It could
things we
be,
could
you know.
do.
No,
So many
definitely.
great things we could do.
I mean, for me, I think that even my own focus improved once I started exercising. I think for me personally, I started exercising, I started getting my heart rate up, I started, just taking better care of myself, eating better foods, and I just was clearer. My brain gets clearer. I slept better. Getting good sleep. Sleep is so important.
Yeah.
Getting good, not just sleep. I don't mean go to bed, take a Xanax, wake up in the morning. That's not restful sleep. You know,
Right. I'm not a big fan of that.
No.
Of any of that stuff. I find that anybody that does, I mean, maybe you know people that do, but most people I know that do that end up in not such a good place.
I mean, there are real indications for medications like
Sure.
that, and if they're done safely, absolutely. But medications like that are habit forming because
Right.
if you can't sleep
Absolutely.
and you can just push a button or take a pill and you can fall asleep, everybody wants an easy way out.
Right,
That
right.
we live in America. Everything is instant gratification.
Right.
I need instant gratification. I need to sleep, and I need to sleep now.
But for one sacrifice, we are, I mean, let's face it, it is something that is still not natural. right? Which means the human body will somehow, some way react, not necessarily in the best way. It may not be now, it could be later on, it could be stomach issues, it could be medication, it could
liver
cause weight
issues,
gain, absolutely, liver issues, kidney
and I
issues.
worry about, especially this ambient thing, like I've seen people on it that don't even realize they're asleep and they're sleepwalking.
Right.
It's really scary.
I mean, the scary thing too that we see with a lot of these sleeping pills is that, you know, your body, you have to listen to your body. If you can't sleep, why can't you sleep? What is the problem?
Exactly.
What is it? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it what you're eating? Is it what you're drinking? Is it, you know, is it something underlying that's going on in your body that they're telling you that? So it is important to follow up with your doctor. It is important to see your nutritionist if you have one. You know, it's important to figure out the cause of why you can't sleep. You know, do you have sleep apnea? Is there something else going on? Is there something?
But you know, a lot of people that have sleep apnea, from what I've heard, a lot of it does have to do with the foods they eat.
It does.
And
weight gain as well.
Weight gain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
we all said weight at the same time.
no, it's true. It changes the way that you're kind of choking yourself in a lot of ways, you know. So I just think, like, so many, and also one of the things that I do, like, because I live on naps because I have so many different jobs, and they're at different times. So a lot of times I'm really sleep deprived, and I have to take a nap before I go to my second job or whatever. But one of the things that I find that I do and works is I meditate.
Okay.
So I'll lay down and I'll say to myself, you might not end up sleeping. So just meditate, and sure enough, I'm out in 10 minutes.
That's right.
Because I'll start to just let my mind wander.
Right.
You know, and things like that, like learning to I think it goes back to fear. That fear, I'm not going to be able to sleep. This is not going to happen. Oh my God. And then that keeps you awake, and then you start thinking about everything, and just saying, I tell myself, this is going to be fine. At least I'm laying down. You know, this is, at least the pressure's off my feet or whatever. The next thing you know, I'm out. Yeah. And I think if people start to do more of that, like, and if you want a really good meditation, by the way, and you've never meditated, my friend Emily Bruton Schilling recorded this beautiful meditation. And you can get it. It's I'll post it or have Leo post it. We're having some problems, and I want to. If usually people type in and it's crazy, and I think that what Leo was texting me is that they can hear us, and it's not a problem with the audio at all. I think there's a typing in issue. So, but if you are there and you want to type in, just so we know you're there, because he did text me that that's happening. But and I'll post it if someone doesn't post it. It's called ART, ART, and AND. Honor, HONOR, /meditate.com. Meditation. So art and honor /meditation.com. And I will post it. My friend Emily recorded this beautiful meditation. And everyone I've sent it to is out like a light. Awesome. Yeah. You know, there's just something very zen about it. And it's just bringing your body down, to gradually it brings it down to a point where you can just like let go. And that's the best sleep, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So okay, let's go to the worst things you can do for your body. We've talked about, let me just check the time. So we're at okay, good. So we're like halfway through the show.
Are we on Facebook, Maria?
Yeah, we should be.
Okay.
I mean, it should be going, because that's what I checked. Is someone saying that we're actually, if someone and what did she say? We're not on?
She said she's been watching, but she didn't see it. But I know we're on the radio.
Okay, so we are on the radio, and I know it's recording because it says, live, it's going. Sometimes weird things happen with, so we're all listening, and I posted the live for all, okay. So, I don't know, Leo, if you're there and you want to call in, maybe you can tell us what's happening, because, you know, these are things that, I mean, the radio station is going through, so we have that. It is recording. Sometimes it doesn't come through a live feed, and then once we save it, then people can watch it.
All right.
So there's a lot of different things that can go on, but it is being recorded because it says live, and those are the minutes that it's happening.
Awesome.
So, okay, we talked about some of the best things you can do for your body. What are some of the worst things that you can do for your body? And you can answer individually or together, whatever.
Some of the worst things. We talked about depriving your body of water and hydration, right? That was covered already. We talked about
hold
sleep
on. Here comes
deprivation.
Leo Rodriguez. Leo Rodriguez! Hi, Leo. Hold on a second, honey. Put you on speaker. So, Rio, what's going on out there? Are we coming through?
Yeah, I can hear you on Armed Radio, but I don't see anything. I didn't get your post that you went live. So
Okay, so
you were posting on Facebook.
that's so weird because it says live from our end of it. And I don't want to end it. So what I'm thinking is it may not be going live now, but then I'll save it either way and then repost it. So you don't, because I checked my page and I could see it on my page.
Go to the phone.
Yeah, when I went to my page, I could see it.
Check
So-
my page.
We'll check.
We'll check, but we're gonna keep doing our thing. And here we are. You
No,
see,
it says
so
you're
we are
live now.
live.
It says it on my phone.
It
too.
says it on my phone too. So maybe it's different people. I'm not going to worry too much about it because we will see. It says Jacqueline Marie. Yeah. So I think it's just might be a Facebook glitch, but then we'll save it and it'll come back on. See, Jack is.
Yeah, just-
All right. So just maybe keep clicking out and
Oh,
clicking
we're on.
back on.
We're on.
We're definitely
up and
on.
I see myself here.
I see myself too.
Yep. All right. So we'll be there. But thank you, Leo. Our accidental assistant has called in and is checking in. All right. Thank you, honey.
Thanks, Leo.
Thanks, Leo. Bye. Love you too, honey. So cute. All right. So you know what? You got to roll with the punches.
Absolutely.
But it will. Don't worry. It'll save, and then we'll be able to click it back on. Jill Anderson. Okay. We see. All right. So it'll be fine. All right. So we were talking. Okay. So let's continue with the worst things that you said. Go ahead. What do you think is like?
Well, besides sleep deprivation, which you want to sleep. Right?
Yeah, that's my big thing.
You know, hydration, which you want to drink, specifically water, and specifically plain water. Every once in a while, sure, mix it with something if you need to, and stuff, you know, preferably like lemon or anything of that sort.
Right.
You know, the main thing also is there's a lot of different things that, like we were talking just before with regard to how the body reacts to different types of foods, too. So, to the individual that has specific issues that, you know, with inflammation, for instance.
Yeah, please. That's like such a good one.
You know, figure out whether, you know, you can have dairy, you can. Figure out whether you can have wheat or you can. Figure out if, you know, if your sugar intake is too much.
So those are the things that cause inflammation.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
for sure, dairy's a big one. Is a
Really?
huge one. Yeah. Even in the Max Challenge that I was doing, there's no dairy in their nutrition program at all. It gets
Really?
cut out
Wow.
from day one,
Sure.
unless it's your treat meal. But
Okay.
you know, but other than that, dairy.
Too many grains as
yeah,
well,
too many
especially if they're processed grains. Too
Well,
many
processed,
grains.
yeah.
See, this is the thing. What I was talking about, like, you know, like you'll go years thinking something is so good for you,
Yeah,
and then all of a
absolutely.
sudden you realize it's not good for you, and it's like so confusing to know what is. And I think, I mean, for me, what I've learned, like that different foods are work for different people, and it's just finding.
Absolutely. Some people don't have allergic reactions to specific foods, and some people do. Unfortunately, because we like specific things and stuff, we may not want to give up that thing.
Right.
So, which, you know, I've been definitely guilty of that. You know?
Oh,
Yeah, me
for sure.
too. Mine
Most
is
of my
you know,
life,
mine
you
is
know?
Diet Coke. Like
Yeah.
I'm down to like maybe 1 or 2 a day. I was drinking like 10 a day.
Sure.
Crazy amounts of Diet Coke.
Sure.
And I knew it wasn't good for me, but it's so hard to like completely,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay.
Well, even if you cut out the Diet Coke or even half it, let's just
Right.
because it's very hard, you know, to stop something cold turkey. I
Right.
get it. You know, Diet Coke and all these other diet sodas, they have aspartame, like fake sugar.
Right.
And, you know, now there are studies showing that aspartame is linked to memory loss or aspartame is linked to, you
A
know,
lot of
to
things.
so
it
many
even kills
things.
your natural flora.
Yeah.
You know, people
What-
don't
gut-
understand.
so,
What's flora?
Like
What's
the
that?
good
Your natural
bacteria that you
probiotics,
have in the
good
gut.
gut bacteria that basically allow us to, one, lose body fat and weight. Two, it helps us with regard to diseases you know, in our body. You know, our good bacteria kills bad bacteria, funguses, viruses, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if we're taking in specific foods, and these specific foods like Diet Coke and many other foods are basically killing our gut bacteria
Wow.
over time, as we get older, our body doesn't replenish it as quickly.
Right.
You know, when we're younger, I used to be able to eat anything.
yeah.
Oh my
I would eat,
God,
like,
me too.
2
Eat
full
or
pizza
drink
pies.
anything.
I remember. And like
And
like
smoke.
a whole gallon of soda right on top of that. And
Yeah.
stuff. But, you know, I can't do that any longer.
Did you ever smoke, Jay? Did you ever smoke
No,
cigarettes?
that's the one thing I didn't
No,
do. I
you
took
neither?
a couple
No,
of puffs
never.
one day, and it's like, you know, my mother died of heart disease
Yeah.
at a young age, and she was a smoker and stuff, and that always repelled me because I stayed away from the smoke itself.
Yeah.
Because I said, you know what, I don't want to follow that path. and I want to set a good example for my family, my nieces, my nephews, and people that I love and stuff like that. I want to stay along the lines of trying to be as healthy as I possibly can be, and one of the ways to do it is you live by example. You live by example. If people a lot of times will not do what you say, will do what you do. So if I can be a better influence and stuff, and then I'm going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So diet, sleep deprivation, diet sodas. Those are two things that I do. See, it's like so. Those are two of the worst things that you can do.
So, I think smoking. You started talking about it.
I mean, I quit over 20 years ago.
Right,
smoking's the top.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and now everybody's doing they're vaping or they're using the Juul pods, to try.
Okay, so what do you think of that? Is that better? Is it? Okay, very interesting.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I know that some people, even my wife, have used vapes to help them stop smoking because they feel like, hey, it's not the actual cigarette. It's water vapor, it's other things. We have no idea what chemicals are in those things and what they're going to do in the long term. Those Juul pods, the little Juuls, they look like that. So one Juul pod is equivalent to one whole pack of cigarettes.
Wow.
That's it. One pod is one pack of cigarettes. And it is so easy to puff on that thing whenever you want. You could do it in a bathroom, in a restaurant, in your car. It doesn't. It's almost like the cigarettes. You can't do them. You can't smoke them. I mean, in other places,
like they'll regulate because you can't do them everywhere. You will regulate more.
But these vapes have no smell. They have nothing, with them. So you're ingesting all of this into your lungs. Your lungs are meant for oxygen only, and that's it. Your lungs are supposed to be for oxygen.
It's interesting.
And that's the point.
And moisture will allow more nutrients to be absorbed into the body too. That's another thing. And
really?
Listen, you go to a steam room and stuff. You're completely relaxed. Your pores,
breathing.
Stuff. It just it's. The skin alone is absorbent.
Yes.
The skin alone, that's why even using specific types of deodorant that have too many chemicals in it is not a great thing either, because the simple fact that your body does absorb these chemicals.
Wow.
It does go into your bloodstream, into your lymph nodes.
Now let's go. I know. Let's go there. Steam rooms. Do you think they're a good idea or not a good idea?
Yeah, they don't do anything bad.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, unless you overdo it. Steam rooms and saunas are great. Saunas basically tend to have less bacteria because there's not, bacteria doesn't thrive as much in moisture.
Right.
But and steam rooms, the bacteria does thrive a little.
Yeah. You have to watch for the molds and things.
Yeah,
Because you hear different people ask different questions.
I mean,
like
if you have breathing problems, you have asthma, and it's really difficult, and that air is too thick. I mean, that might be too much for you.
If you have heart problems as well, you have to watch with heat. That's really important. Like, doctors really recommend, be careful with too many hot things if you have a heart condition. Even flying, even flying. So and regulate the time. Regulate the time that you're in a sauna or a steam room. Don't go in there and stay there for like a half hour or an hour.
All right, I want to talk about the flying thing.
Okay.
Sure. I love this. Okay, so I am a person that I don't like to fly, not because I'm afraid of flying. My ears get so screwed up, and my balance. Then from that, it takes forever, and I've just had problems when I fly. Like it takes me a while to feel my body is regulated again.
Right.
I know people that pass out when they fly. And is that so? That's from the pressure.
It depends. I mean, I think the passing out could be the pressure, but I think it is a lot of anxiety too when people fly.
Okay.
There's something called a vasovagal attack.
I've heard this, so go ahead.
Yeah. So, which is when your vagus nerve gets compressed. And now that can be from either hyperventilating, that can be from pressure, that can be from excessive heat, and then that's kind of how your body's trying to get rid of it, and then they pass out. It's the same phenomenon when someone sees blood and they pass out. That's a vasovagal attack.
Oh, all right.
Or they give blood, or they donate blood, and they pass out, or it's really hot, or they're on stage, and all of a sudden it gets overwhelming and they pass out. That's a vasovagal attack.
Anxiety?
Kind of. That can force that on. That can kind of bring that on to it.
Constricting something gets
presses
constricted
on it, and then it kind of goes
that's
through. So
interesting.
it will
Yeah.
lower your heart rate. It will lower the blood pressure. So we'll say, like, even when I was working in the hospital, it's like, oh, this guy's he's gonna vagal, or she's gonna vagal, and because we know we can watch it. We can watch it happen. That white. You ever see somebody pass out when they turn white, and it's just like, oh god,
there
down.
they go.
Or the eyes roll.
Right.
That's kind of like a vasovagal attack.
Wow,
so
that's interesting.
that happens.
I wasn't
for
sure if it
people
was
on
the
planes,
pressure,
too.
but that because people are afraid.
Oh yeah, I mean
this
now
fear.
if you have that pressure in your ears, I've flown before, and when you have like your sinus issues and you have that
bad.
pain,
It's
there
bad.
is
It's very
nothing like
painful.
that
Yeah,
pain.
I've had that.
You're like in
Yeah.
tears that you can't
Right.
get it. You can chew all the gum you want
Yeah,
and
it
pop
does
your
not-
ears, and no
does
matter
not
what, it
work.
doesn't work.
Does
Yeah.
not work for them. Yeah, it's
So
insane.
a lot
Sometimes
of
it does,
yeah,
but-
sometimes it does,
but
which is fine.
A lot of
but
times it does not.
if you have sinus issues, if you have congestion and allergies and whatnot, or have people who have had really bad wax in their ears or other things like that, that can happen.
Okay.
More times often than not, it's an underlying sinus thing. Now, I'm never...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
An
so
underlying sinus thing.
I have
Okay.
some people who do sinus rinses before they fly.
Yeah.
Like just like neti pots or
I love
other
neti
things.
pots,
And
actually. I think they're great.
I mean, if you're using clean water, they're fine. You know what I
Right.
mean? When you use the neti pots with bacteria, then they're not
Yeah,
great.
no.
So,
Yeah, you gotta be
that's not-
really,
yeah, just have to be careful.
sanitized.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
but it works great, Or there are some people, what the pilots do actually sometimes, and I don't love Afrin because Afrin is habit forming. But what the pilots will do sometimes is they actually will take Afrin about a half an hour or so before
mean
they
the
fly.
spray?
The nasal spray, yeah, before they fly, just to clean everything out.
Okay,
even if
that's
they're not
interesting.
congested, and then that doesn't happen.
Oh,
Now,
all right.
Afrin is immediately like if you've ever taken it
Yeah.
and you're super congested.
You've
in
had to.
10 minutes.
I've only taken it when I've had to.
10 minutes you're decongested, but again it's that rebound. So anything that's a quick fix, people want a
Right.
quick fix. Afrin
Yeah.
is great. I'm congested, you take Afrin, it's gone.
I don't like the way I
problem-
feel, though. It makes me feel jittery.
Yeah, that, and then you have a rebound of congestion. So within 10 to 12 hours, you'll actually be more congested than you were,
Really?
and then you need to take it again.
Isn't that
and then
interesting?
you do, and you need to
I
take it,
wonder
and
if
then
they,
that's why
if they
have it
make
for me.
those things purposely like that, so that you need.
So now you're helping to spread the big pharma rumor. So there.
Well, no, but that's what. I mean, I
That's it.
I
Okay.
think about this. I think about this all the time.
no,
like,
it's
then that because it's sales. Look, I've been in sales since 1983.
Yeah, so but Afrin will destroy your septum if you really use it that much, and
There's
there's
a lot of things to think about. What are some of the foods? Now we're running out of. Believe it or
Wow,
not,
we're talking so much.
no, but it's great. I do want to do our food section.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So okay, this is a section of our show called "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." Jackie, jump in there with us. Go ahead, keep eating. All right. So tonight, what did I make? As I said, I've been on a low carb diet, high protein, low carb, a little bit of fats. So I made chicken. I took just chicken breasts, cut them up, and I have avocado oil.
Nice.
For the fats. Also because avocado oil, you can turn it up really super, super high. And
It's a high heat oil.
High heat
That's
oil,
great.
yeah.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and
those
it
are great.
doesn't burn, and also you don't have to bread it. It still gets a nice kind of flavor to it. So then I have parsley, garlic, red onions, a little bit of oregano, and some more Provençal flavors.
Nice.
So
Oh,
that's
that
what I
smells-
did.
that
Does it
really
smell
smells
good?
amazing.
All
It
right,
really
and I
does.
figured
As soon
we
as I
just-
walked in, I
Yeah,
was
me
like,
too.
I'm
I said the
hungry.
same
We
thing.
would just have that with a nice, I love my damn salads. I think
I love
salads
damn
have,
salads, too.
I think they've saved me all these years of eating all that junk. But so tonight,
It's
I know
a
you
beautiful
look.
presentation.
Thank
there,
you,
Rivera.
It looks
Jay.
It's really.
I know you love kale. Jay loves kale.
I love kale.
And but me, if I have just kale, then I can't do it. It's just overwhelming for me.
That's right.
Kale,
I like
as
a
I
little
say,
color,
Get a
a little
little
color
color
in
too
there.
sometimes, though, yeah.
So I
absolutely.
added some romaine, some kale, some red cabbage, which I love.
Yeah.
Shredded red cabbage. I have scallions in here.
Love scallions.
Yep, they're great. And then orange peppers
Oh, love
and some
peppers.
baby Persian cucumbers.
Orange pepper is just nice and sweet as well.
So now for this, I think we can go with an extra virgin olive oil and just a plain, delicious balsamic,
That's great.
nice vinaigrette.
That
And it's
sounds
good that you
really
didn't
great.
cook them too, because that actually keeps all those nutrients inside. Because sometimes when you break it down, when you cook everything,
Yeah.
you're not getting that raw vegetable.
I
raw
love it.
vegetables are great
Sure.
for you.
And I
for
love
sure.
vegetables. Believe it or not, I think that's kind of saved me my whole
Yeah.
life. Because you know why? My dad had a garden. So he grew his own vegetables always. And so we loved it. We would go in the garden and he had sugar snap peas and we just eat them. Or carrots or zucchini or little baby watermelons or tomatoes, forget it. So we were used to, like, my mother would say, go in the garden, I need get some basil, and everything tastes amazing.
That's great.
So we weren't kids who you had to force to eat vegetables. We loved them. Okay, so what did I do? I'm going with a healthy summer.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love strawberries. So I cut up some strawberries. Strawberries are, if Dr. Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're loaded with niacin.
Niacin.
Yep, so that's always good for you. And these are, I've been eating these from Trader Joe's. They're so good. They're low carb, and low sugar, but they're really good. They're pecan, peach cookies from Trader Joe's, and they're great. They're super healthy.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, and they're just really good, and it's not a lot. Because look, the thing is, I'm not the kind of person that wants to deprive myself. Eating is a big part of my life.
It is a part of my life.
And I'm a great cook, and I want to be able to do that. So, but like for the summer, I just have to fit into my clothes. Yeah. So this is good. If I get into these good habits, know.
But you don't want to come wintertime
and then
like reverse the good habits. Keep the habits going. Keep
right.
It's what a lot of people will say is failing to plan is planning to fail. So you got to meal prep.
Wait, say that again. I love that.
You like that? That
yeah.
Nice. So
say that again.
So failing to plan is planning to fail.
Meaning failing to plan your meals or what you're going to do.
What you're
this
gonna
is
do,
great.
like how you got to take care of yourself. So I think it's a really big.
Plan it out, or you'll fail.
That's
basically.
it.
Right. One of the things,
we don't want you to fail.
No, I love that though. But one of the things that I've been doing, and Judy's been doing as well, is we've been going food shopping. Mm-hmm. And Judy is a planner anyway. She is a planner. Such a planner.
She's a smart girl.
She really is.
She's a very smart girl.
But she really will buy a couple days worth of food. She'll make a delicious meal for us, and then she'll make her lunch for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she'll have it done and ready, and then she'll know what we're having for dinner.
That's so great.
It's really amazing, and really tries to. She's very good about staying healthy.
That's good.
But it's true because for me, if I don't plan what I'm gonna let's say I'm on my way to one of my night jobs, right, which are 8-9 hour long shifts. Mm-hmm. What I'm gonna end up doing if I don't bring something to eat, I'm gonna go to the taco truck, I'm gonna go to the deli.
Absolutely. I mean, listen,
I'm gonna get diner food.
You gotta eat.
Or I'm just gonna grab garbage, pretzels, potato chips. Garbage. It's going to just ruin everything. So I have to, what I've been trying to do now is just make something before I leave the house and bring it with me. It's great. Mm-hmm. It holds me over till I get home.
Exactly.
So let me see what we have for time here. I'll have to put on one of my pairs of glasses. Jesus Christ. I'm like a crazy old lady. Okay, so we are we have about 4 minutes left.
Aw.
All right.
It's so fun, though.
It's so fun. And we'll do it again because we're gonna I just wanted to introduce Dr. Jackie Guliano to everybody. She's going to be our official.
You're awesome, girl.
No, you're awesome. I'm excited to have you.
I know, and you guys.
We should do this again.
This is a really good team.
Yeah.
Really good team. And what I'm going to do in the future, too, I want to get Barbara Cavallo on and Lois Abramacek. They're both wonderful therapists that are true believers in wellness and health and all that stuff. And they're really Zen, wonderful, creative people. And I want to get them on. That's just the summer is really hard for them because they have all these workshops they do. So we're going to do a lot of these different things. So, of course, What's the Story with Maria is a show where we celebrate and creative people and the wonderful, thriving, surviving, living as a creative person. But in order to thrive and live and survive, you have to be healthy.
Yes.
And you have to be happy. And so if you're listening out there and you're thinking, oh, God, come on, I go to this show so I don't have to think about stuff. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. We just want you to live a good life.
You have a choice. How about that? It's that simple. You simply have a choice. And that's what we're here to give you a choice, not here to shove something down your throat. Because nobody wants to, no one wants to be controlled in life. So just, we educate ourselves. That's what we should do, and then we should basically take the choices from there that we learn and just apply them in our lives. Help others too while we're at it. Help ourselves, help our family, help those around us. Hey, by the way, I have this.
And Jay, you said that you were a chubby kid, right?
Oh yeah.
So what was it that was it your mom's health and it just changed the way you thought about life, or?
Growing up with the typical Latino diet, basically, I ate a lot of amazingly rich foods, but they were extremely unhealthy, and that brought me to a place where I had skin conditions. I had really, really chronic sinus problems. I had very bad allergies, and those things turned around simply with food. I tons of sinus medication and skin creams and stuff like that. None of that really helped me with the. I mean, it treated some of the
topical stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But it's not
for
the
a moment. But it didn't treat the underlying. The only way that I needed to treat the underlying was to educate myself, and then finally actually start, kind of pushing through a little bit, because there's a lot of discomfort in not wanting to
change is hard.
Change, hard.
Not wanting to change, which is normal. That's a normal thing
and
for
anything.
Everyone, that's why there should be no shame around this.
Yeah, but I like that you said that about the shame.
Yeah, me too.
And Jackie, because we are kind of winding down now.
Yeah.
So to
Thank
motivate.
you, Maria, by the way.
Oh my
this
God,
was awesome
I'm loving this.
us.
Are you
This
kidding?
is
This
so
is so
cool.
good,
Really
and I
appreciate
feel
it.
like so chill now. Like this feels so good. I don't feel like anyone is shoving anything down my throat. I'm inspired.
But that's what you should take from it. You should take the motivation and run with it. You know what I mean? You have to. I mean, just like, if you take a bath or you take a shower, you're going to get dirty the next day. If you don't keep motivating yourself,
that's a great way
you're
to
going
put
to
it.
lose it. You
It's
have
maintenance.
to, exactly. You have to maintain that. You need
Okay,
to
now let
keep
me ask
motivating
you
yourself.
one more thing as we're closing
Yeah.
out. If someone does slip where they don't do so well one day, what's a great way to get right back on it?
I mean, you have to remind people of the time where they felt good. You're going to start exercising. You're going to start changing your nutrition, and you're going to start, just feeling better about yourself. And you're going to see the difference. And then there's going to be the barbecues, and there's going to be the birthday parties, and there's going to be the Friday nights and Saturday nights where you go out and you do this, and then you're like, and then you're going to go out and eat and drink and do whatever else you want to do. And you're going to maybe just remember, that was so much fun, I want to do that, I want to do that. You can still go out and do that. No nutrition plan should be not sustainable. You can't say, I'm never going to have a carb again in my entire life. It's not going to happen.
You find a balance.
Yeah, you have to find a good balance, and it's, for me, I think that people really do need to don't be afraid of your doctor. Don't be afraid of your trainer. Don't take that shame. You have to. People are afraid. I don't want to go to the doctor.
Keep an open mind.
Exactly.
Definitely keep an open mind.
Jimmy, how we doing?
That's it. I'm sorry.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay,
So-
Jackie, tell them where you work so they can find you.
Okay, so I work at Family Practice of Centra State, not the New York Center State. Centra State, CENTRA. I work at the Marlboro location. So I am there every weekday but Wednesdays, so you could definitely go and check it out and take a new
Go see Dr. Jackie and
in New Jersey. So
in Jersey, right?
Yes.
And how do they find you, sir? Jay Rivera.
I work over at Train Station NYC, which is on 49 West 24th Street, as a trainer and nutrition as well. And I mean, you can find me on Facebook as well. Jay Rivera on Facebook. Just look me up, and I will gladly, if I can be of help in any way, sure, absolutely.
All right, I want to thank you both. This was so great. We're going to do it again. We're starting our third season, and we want to say thank you to Jim Bell. We'd be lost without Jim Bell.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Joe Rocks, and we're gonna come back with all this great stuff. Come back every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.